well, the rain wasn't welcome, and it's really hot here. I really noticed that. So I had a recent trip to Minnesota that was full of many exciting things. Karaoke for the first and probably last time. Plenty of libations, so it went really, really well. Trips to the casino. There's one on every corner up there. Along with the requisite banquets. All you can eat food. All of it fried. It was very good, which is a good thing because I tasted it for a couple of days afterwards. Camping in the Great Northland near Walker, Minnesota. And a half marathon. I asked myself, why do I do these things? I can understand if there were a pack of wild dingoes running after you, it would be a great reason to run 13.1 miles. Otherwise, I don't know why I do it. And then in another concert, we saw the Oak Ridge Boys, which was quite interesting. Elvira was there. But the highlight of the trip was my walleye fishing trip. You know what a walleye is?
Perch fish.
It's a fish. It is definitely a fish. We set out at the appointed time last Wednesday, which was from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. It was dark outside. We're at the Twin Pines Fishing Camp in Garrison, Minnesota. There were 20 people on the pontoon boat. Well, there were 19 fishermen, me, and then 2 fishing guides. The characters, me, the Floridian, that had some idea of what a walleye was. My friend Ruth, who I've known since '76, before some of you were born. That's okay. And she said, Tom, I'm just so happy that you're willing to go on a fishing trip with me. Because you know that I love fishing. And I know that you're not a fisherman. So I made a great sacrifice. Thank you so much. I made a great sacrifice and went walleye fishing with her. Ruth, one of my best friends for many, many years. We also had 2 fishing guides, true Minnesotan rednecks. For a while, I wasn't sure if I was in Bithlo or Minnesota. But based on the weather outside, I was in Bithlo. Also, to my left were 2 Iowans, and to my right was another Iowan. So it was quite the mixture of people. Lots of fishermen and me. I cast out. I didn't know how to cast out. That was good. However, I didn't bait my own hook because the bait is leeches, bloodsuckers. That's what the walleye like. So I cast out. The fishing guide got me right where I needed to be, so I could at least, possibly, maybe get a nibble. As you can tell, I obviously did. Another character that was there, and I'm talking about a character, was the girl from Cabin 12. Yeah, oh yeah. I was there drinking my Coke Zero, as I often do. Everybody else was drinking beer, especially the girl from Cabin 12. And this chick did not know how to hold her liquor. Not that beer is liquor, but in any event, she didn't quite know how to hold her liquor. I cast out. Sitting there for about 30 minutes, drinking my Diet Coke, my Coke Zero. Nothing was happening. And then, after about 30 minutes, one of the Iowans on my left said, your bomber's going up and down. And I'm like, really? I'll be darned, it is. So I'm like, well, what I should do then, obviously, is yank and try and reel it in. Well, the Iowan on my right said, oh no, you have to let the walleye play with the leech for a little while. They gotta play with it. You can't just jerk it up. So what did I do? I didn't jerk it up. Oh, okay. And then finally he said, okay, now you pop it. So I yanked it up and I reeled it in.
All right.
As you can see. The redneck came over, the fishing guide came over with his net and pulled it out. Before that happened, as soon as I popped it, everybody yelled, "Fish on!" And I'm like, fish on what? But that meant a fish is coming on board. It's a big deal, because they weren't really biting very well. As soon as the redneck fishing guide saw my fish, he said, "This one looks like a keeper." I'm like, yeah, they should all look like keepers. Don't you keep your fish? And the answer is, oh no, you don't, unless you're a Native American. Now, I'm either a quarter and eighth Native American, which is probably why I got to keep this fish. Nah, probably not. He said, "This one looks like a real keeper." Cool. They have what they call slot ranges. Every lake, there are 10,000 lakes in Minnesota, and we're on the biggest one, but every lake has a different slot range. In this particular lake, you can only keep your fish, unless you were a Native American, if it were between 18 and 20 inches long. That's a very small range, wouldn't you say? Now this is a 16-inch ruler. So 18 inches would be about here, and 20 inches would be about there. That is how small the range was. You know what? It was a keeper. So we got to keep it. Thank you. I got to keep my fish. It was the first keeper in 3 weeks. And they do 3 trips a day. And then this other fellow, the Minnesotan, the one with the beard who's pale, he also, notice I'm no beard and tan. I'm from Florida. If you're a guy from Minnesota, you have no tan and you have a beard because it's cold. He also got a keeper between 18 and 20 inches. The funny thing was, I'm a Floridian. I don't know what a walleye is. He's a Minnesotan who hadn't been fishing since junior high school. My fellow Minnesotans, my fellow Iowans, and all the true fishermen got bites, brought some in, fish on, but they weren't keepers. What a drag for them, how awesome for us. So, we were done, me and this other fellow. We took our fish, they cleaned the fish for us, skinned the fish. It was beautiful. The next night, we were camping in the Great Northland near Walker, Minnesota. So my friend Ruth, who thinks she can cook, and I guess she can. Anyway, she made a fire, and I hope she doesn't see this. We're not going to post this, I hope. So she made a fire over at the campground, and we had grilled fish walleye. It was delicious. It was scrumptious. It was mouth-watering. As a good colonel would say, it was finger-licking meat. Now I know why walleye is so good. Now about that girl in cabin 12, as we were getting our walleye cleaned, she decided to invite everyone on the boat over to cabin 12 for a party. In our infinite wisdom, we declined. Because no telling what would have happened. It would have been very, very bad news. The moral of the story is I was very lucky, and my friend the Minnesotan was very lucky. Beginner's luck is the best kind, and boy does it taste good. Thank you.